Got a new car, I pay cash, got a new crib for the Weed Lab. This is Mark Bell from SuperTraining.tv, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West. I am here in Slingerville, inside the Slinger Ranch, and we are slinging out slingers nonstop. I appreciate all the support. I have the Slinger wrap, the elbow sleeve on my elbow, on the people's elbow, right now as we speak. Things are going really good with the slingshot. They're cruising along. The new elbow sleeve is made out of the same material as the reactive slingshot, and is out of the same material as the wrist wrap. Also, this message is sponsored by HowMuchYouBench.net, the slingshot, and kabang, the only strength magazine in the world, thepowermagazine.com. What we're going to talk about today here at the Power Project is we're going to talk about putting some people into the coach's eye. You're going to see some deadlifts and you're going to see some squats. What I suggest for some of these people and some of the videos that you're going to see for the squats, especially, even more so than the deadlifts, is go to mobilitywod.com. I know I recommend it all the time. You guys probably getting sick of me saying that. You guys probably thinking I'm getting a cut of that, but that ain't the truth. The truth is there's great information there. You guys can learn how to become more mobile, and you guys can learn how to move better through listening to a lot of the information that Kelly Starrett is spitting out at mobilitywod.com. So please check that out. Get those hips loosened up, get those lower backs and hammies loosened up so you can hit some huge squats and huge deadlifts. Enjoy the videos. So here we are in the coach's eye. We're going to analyze some strength here. Analyze. This guy here owns CrossFit Durango out in Colorado. And he came to a seminar that Jesse Burdick and myself did, and he got his learn on, and he learned how to make himself stronger, more strongerist. And one of the big things that he learned in the seminar was how to position himself in the deadlift a little bit better. He's a tall guy. This guy's probably 6'3" or so, maybe even a little bit taller. And he's very thin. Doesn't have a big waist or big belly to push off of in the squat or the deadlift. So it's crucial that he gets just the right positioning at the bottom. Now this lift right here that he's about to do is going to represent a 15-pound PR. And it's on a deficit. And it's for a double, which is nice to see. So I think around the time of the seminar, I could be wrong, but I think around the time of the seminar, he was pulling around 425, and now he's pulling around 465. Let's back that last one up again and watch it one more time. He is on a deficit, so there is going to be some chance of being screwed over here at the bottom. Something that's a few things that are noteworthy here that I feel is really important. I call this kind of cutting into your hamstrings, or pushing back into your hamstrings. He's going to push back this way until his hamstrings engage. He's going to push back until his hips start to come down. Back until the hips come down. Bam, pow, whap. Right? He's going to push back until the hips come down. Now they're coming down. And now what he's trying to do is he's trying to get this guy somewhat flat. He does a decent job of that. A little bit of roundy in the mid to upper back there. But that's going to happen. He is on a deficit, so we got to give him benefit of the doubt there. It's a little craned over. Not too bad. Does a good job with a neutral head position. Back it up a little bit more. Get that first rep in there. That's the crucial one. He's trying to get some leg drive to initiate that pull. Pretty good job. He needs more ass, though, because he's trying to finish this lift with his quads. And a deadlift is a hip movement. You want to turn it into a hip movement. You want to turn a deadlift into... The deadlift, when you nail it just right, it should look like a pin pull or a block pull. It should look like a partial range of motion. It should look like all you're doing is pushing your hips forward. He does a great job of it right there, but again... For some reason he wants to ramp the weight up on his quads. He needs to be flexing his ass as hard as he can right there and not leaning back and flexing his quad. So it could be an error in his form. It could also just be he could just have kind of weak hips. His hips and butt might not be in tune with what he's doing just yet. And I always get this thing screwed up, heading in the wrong direction. So here's rep number uno. Let's watch it all the way through. He goes for 3 reps here. I want to say this is 465 pounds. He goes for a triple here. Maybe more, I don't know. That first rep wasn't bad. Now you can see him losing positioning in that lower back. But he wants to tough it out. He wants to get 3 reps, right? So here he goes. Now, right here, even though he's got a lot of weight over the bar this way, I think if he just flexes his butt as hard as he can forward towards the bar, like he's trying to hump the bar. There's a dirty term for that, but I'll just leave it at that. He's trying to hump the bar, trying to drive those hips forward, and trying to throw that head back behind the bar. Instead, what he does is the second he clears his knees, he decides to cheat. Lowers his hips, which should never happen in the deadlift once the pull is initiated. And it looks like he's about ready to pass out right here. He re-gets his breath, makes sure he still has the bar. Then he finishes it very easily with the way that I said that he should have originally. So some Dimmel deadlifts are in store for this guy. He's got to work on building up those glutes, building up the ass, hamstrings, step-ups. Obviously, any form of a leg curl would be good. Lunges would be good. Any of that kind of stuff. Any single leg movements would be beneficial as well. Here's another guy who wrote into the Power Project, and he wanted me to do a form check on him. So let's see what we see here, even just from the beginning, before the guy even starts. I do notice that he's not wearing a belt, which is up to each individual, but I prefer to see people wearing a belt, especially when they're going as heavy as possible, just because the belt's going to allow you to overload and allow you to handle more weight. Now, if that's a training technique that you use and you don't like to wear the belt in training, I guess that's another story for another day. Gets himself down in position here. Kind of has somewhat of a static position. He did pull that weight really good, but again, we're seeing kind of like a hitchy hitch maneuver, which is very common amongst kind of intermediate lifters. And that shouldn't be the case. He should just lean this thing back, and he should flex his hips and his butt as hard as he can. Good pull nonetheless. Pretty impressive with the speed there. Let's back it up one more time. Something I like to teach, and it's not always for everybody, something I like to teach is to bend right from the waist. Let's see if he does that. No, he's trying to squat down too at the same time. That leaves us with a lot of rounding in the lower back. What I like to see is hamstrings are straight, legs are straight, legs are back even with the bar or behind the bar. Shins are not even on the bar yet. All you're doing is bending straight down from the waist. But he decides to go this route, and now he's in a weird position and don't know how he's going to get back out of it rather than trying to stick his chest up. And a lot of people, they try to start to stick their head up here. He's not doing too bad a job with his head positioning, but he is getting severely craned over there. Look at that. And so that's a limiting factor. Now he's screwed. Now he's got to lock this weight out with his upper body and do some weird shit with it. When really, if you guys have been watching this for a long time, you guys watch me analyze people, and you guys have been in gyms, you guys have seen people lift big weights, now you know this guy should be good for another 50 pounds if he cleans up his form. A little more leg in there and a little bit straighter of a back. And we're looking at a 50-pound PR. What I suggest for you is to do some sub-maximal speed work. Take about 70% for about 3 sets of 2, then 75% for about 3 sets of 2, and then 80% for 3 sets of 2. Try to move the weights fast and as explosive as possible. If you can use bands or some chains, that would be preferable. And also, if you're going to use bands or chains, just lower those percentages that I mentioned by about 5%. So you do 9 total sets of 2 reps, and you should be hauling ass on those. So here's a pro. We're going to take a look at a pro deadlifter, Vince Urbank, who has successfully deadlifted over 900 pounds before. This is 865 pounds. And let's see some of the things that he does. Now he bends down to the bar. He's got a little bit of a knee bend, right? But keep in mind, Vince Urbank is about 6'6", huge guy. He's pulling on that bar. He wants to get a little feedback from that bar. Now, look at his legs are straight, as we talked about earlier, cutting into the hamstrings. He's going to push his hips down and back, and then his body's going to be upright. He's going to just kill this weight. Vince has his own style. Everybody's a little different. This guy's developed his own style. He's developed a ton of explosive strength and power. Knees are forward to the bar, which is totally acceptable when you're talking about a conventional style deadlift. He's trying to pull that chest up, and he's trying to kind of throw that head back as he gets this weight moving. Look at that. And he maintains a decent back position throughout the entire range of motion, I would say. Well, not even a decent range of motion, not even decent positioning, great positioning for the amount of weight that's on that bar. Let's look at it again. Look at that shit. Pulls it right into him. Ed Coan has told me before, a deadlift is a push against the floor and then a pull. Push and pull. Pull the weight into you. Push the weight off the floor. Get that thing moving. Then pull the weight into you. Now we got some squats. I apologize for not remembering everybody's name that writes into the Power Project. But people are writing in on YouTube, Facebook, and also to powerprojectarmy@yahoo.com. So here we got a thin-waisted guy again. This is always interesting because it's just that much more difficult to squat when you don't have a big gut. But there's more and more people out there lifting bigger and bigger weights all the time that aren't fat, which proves that you can be strong even when you're not a big fatty boombalatti. So let's see what this guy's doing. I see just a little bit too much knee bend. That's my major criticism of this one. Too much knee bend and the hips moving back a little bit too far. Keep those hips under you more and force your knees out more. Let's watch this one here. Looks like he's opening up a little bit better with that one, but that's probably a lighter weight, I would imagine. I do like the springiness of his squat. Got a nice rhythm to his squat. But right here, he should open up his hips a little bit more. Open those knees up. Let me back it up one more time and try to see if we can identify any sort of head positioning, because a lot of times head positioning is a killer. But he's just getting way overextended on knees. Overextension is, let's see if I can draw it for you guys, is this guy right here. That belt line is disappearing. He's getting a curve in his spine. And it's okay to have a little bit of that, especially as you get towards the bottom of the squat. But you want to try to eliminate that or keep that at bay as best you can. What I would suggest for you is some box squatting and keeping your hips a little bit more forward. You don't need a box squat all the time, but just mix some in. Even just in your warm-ups or something like that might be a good idea. Just mix in some typical speed training off a box. 60% would be my prescription for you for the day. 10 sets of 2. So here we go. We got another guy doing some squats. You can see he's got an Oli shoe on there. Those of you who have trouble getting depth, looking into those. Those of you who have a closer stance, look into getting some sort of pair of Oli shoe. Now look here. Again, we just got too much forward knee bend. Pretty excessive. What I would like to see from this guy is a closer stance and knees out more. A closer stance and knees out more. And he gets a little overarched as well, not too bad. And I see this all the time with lifters, People trying to make gains in strength. And again, another person that needs some more ass. He can use some more booty back there. The reason I'm saying that is just because I'm not seeing him really maintain control of those weights as he should be, and a lot of times that comes from the butt and from the abs. Good commitment to the squats. Decent job on the way down. Let's watch it one more time. Back her up. I do like to see people do something in a squat that I don't like to see in the bench press. You go down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you just should be hitting that hole hard and coming back up. Boom! He should be coming back up a little bit faster than that. He should be almost dropping into that position, just slightly, not a severe dive bomb all the way from the top. Now here's that same gentleman's wifey, and you can see that females oftentimes, just due to their small frame, the fact they're more limber, starting to get overextended here, a lot of arching going on here, and ends up sticking out the booty a little bit too much, especially as she backs these weights up. And you're going to see this from women a lot too, and smaller framed guys. The elbows are going to be real high. That's just to try to create a shelf. Now when she's actually doing these squats, these are looking pretty damn good. Her form is really good. She's doing a great job forcing the knees out. A great job opening up. Does a great job driving them out of there. The only thing I'd like to see her do is hit that hole harder, not see how she's like almost stopping down there. You want to get in and out of that bottom position a little quicker. So for you, I would suggest working with about 80%, 70%, and doing a lot of singles and just trying to kill them, especially out of the bottom. Now here's a pro squatter. So some of those suggestions should help you out quite a bit. 70 to 80% for 8 to 10 singles, and just really try to crush them, try to hit that hole and get out of that bottom position best you can. So here's Stan Arano efforting. You guys seen this video before, but this is a 900-pound squat. I like to show you guys this kind of stuff partly due to motivation and partly due to the fact that some of this stuff is just astronomical and mind-boggling. Stan does a great job of getting the knees out. Notice the torso positioning as he gets into this squat. Head is down, which isn't always acceptable for some people. Doesn't always work for everybody. But the head is down, and that's helping to keep overextension at bay. We can still see his belt. His chest is up. He looks like he's going to die because it's a huge amount of weight. He's going down a little bit slow. But watch him just drop into here just a little bit and explode back up pretty damn good. Now, that's not typical of him. He usually drops down a little bit harder as he gets into that bottom of that squat. But you can really see, guys really see that, how he really opened the hips up right there and reverses his way back out of it and actually moves it fairly easy. Those are the tips for the day. You can never go wrong when you're trying to get strong. Strength is never a weakness, and that is it from supertraining.tv.